When looking for a high-yielding investment opportunity or complete relocation, it's vital to gain solid knowledge of the ever-changing and the most expensive global real estate markets. In this video, we've ranked the most expensive cities to buy property in Europe. These cities are well-renowned across the world and are some of the biggest economic powerhouses in Europe. The way we did the rankings of these cities is by estimating their average listing price of a 100 square meter apartment, which was accumulated via their local realtor websites. The reason we chose to rank these cities by apartments is because most of these cities have more vacant apartment buildings, while vacancy for detached houses is less, and most of them are far more expensive. However, if we chose to rank these cities by freestanding houses, the ranking might be quite different. Another thing to note is that small city-states and principalities like Monaco and Andorra are not mentioned in this video. And so with that, here are 15 most expensive cities to buy property in Europe. Number 15. Vienna, Austria. Often ranked as one of the most livable cities in the world, the capital city of Austria is one of Europe's most beautiful and culturally vibrant. In the past, property prices in Vienna were considered affordable, but nowadays, its real estate market is considered expensive. Due to a continuous inflow of populations, its median property price forecast is expected to increase even more in the upcoming years. Currently, the median listing price of a 100 square meter apartment in all of its 23 districts is accumulated to be around $600,000. Nevertheless, Vienna is still one of the most appealing places to invest in rental property, as almost 70% of its population prefer to rent rather than own a residential property. Number 14. Hamburg, Germany. Hamburg is Germany's second largest city after Berlin and has a population of about 1.8 million inhabitants. The city is a commercial and industrial hub and is home to many domestic and multinational companies. Although lesser known than its more famous neighbors, it's consistently ranked as one of the most expensive cities to live and buy property in Europe. The average listing price of a 100 square meter apartment in all of its 7 boroughs is estimated to be around $650,000. But despite the high prices, many affluent investors try to buy an apartment or house in Hamburg as its prices are still rising and are future-proof. Plus, the city has seen massive real estate construction in the recent past, which shows no signs of slowing down. Number 13. Oslo, Norway. Oslo is the country's capital, and it rates high in many areas such as healthcare, education, economy, and safety. Locals and expats adore its urban vibes. While the biggest con of this city is the unpredictable weather, but this barely affects its property prices. The current average price of a 100 square meter apartment in its prime residential district is approximately $680,000. Aside from the median listing prices, Norway is notoriously known for its taxes. However, when it comes to annual property tax, it's within the maximum amount of 0.7% of the tax basis per year. This is the lowest tax rate out of all the Scandinavian countries. Number 12. Copenhagen, Denmark. As the capital city of Denmark, Copenhagen is the focal point of Danish culture, commerce, entertainment, and lifestyle. According to a global study, it's in the top 10 of the world's priciest cities to live in and the 4th most expensive city in Europe. So evidently, property prices in this city are very high. A 100 square meter apartment in any of its districts is above $700,000. Moreover, if an investor purchases an apartment, there is a huge sum of monthly fees and taxes involved. Heating and water costs can also run high in most of the apartments, and transaction costs of purchasing property can account for tens of thousands of extra money. Number 11. Innsbruck, Austria. Innsbruck is the 5th largest city in Austria and the capital of the federal state of Tyrol. It's an ideal place for lovers of mountains, outdoor activities, and extreme sports. It's a cozy, compact city, but living here can be more expensive than in the capital. When it comes to property purchase prices, it takes the top spot in all of Austria, ahead of Salzburg and Vienna. The reason for its popularity is simple. It's in the Alps and offers a lifestyle that many people aspire to have. As of today, the median listing price of a 100 square meter apartment in this city is roughly around $740,000. However, the Tyrolean capital is still more favorably priced than many Swiss cities and the practically neighboring city of Munich. Number 10. Frankfurt, Germany. Frankfurt is the most metropolis-like city in Germany and a center for business affairs as the German financial capital, and it's also one of the world's most important financial centers. In addition, it's also one of Europe's most desirable places to kickstart career in finance, with its attractive prospects for employment. A quarter of the people here are foreign nationals, and most of them are renters. So for many affluent investors, the market for real estate is more overheated than in any other metropolitan region. Glamorous apartments and gleaming new sky-rise developments are among the most sought-after property in Frankfurt. The median listing price for a 100 square meter apartment in these desirable neighborhoods is close to $760,000. Number 9. Stockholm, Sweden. The capital of Sweden is the largest city in the country with a total metropolitan population of around 2.2 million. This global city is located on top of 14 different islands and is known for its landmarks, abundant forests, picturesque lakes, and as the financial capital of Scandinavia. It's seen a lot of growth in many areas, including high technology, finance, and entrepreneurship, and many international companies have established offices here. So its housing market is not for the faint-hearted, as it's notoriously competitive and expensive, with a 100 square meter apartment within city limits going for a premium price of $770,000. Aside from property, the city consistently finds itself high on the lists of global and European rankings of innovation and competitiveness, while also coming in near the top for the greenest and most livable cities. Number 8. Bern, Switzerland. Nestled in the center of Switzerland, the captivating capital city of Bern is often ranked in the top 10 most expensive cities in the entire world. But despite this, a lot of people move into the city, be it locals or expats. In fact, over 30% of residents living in Bern are of foreign descent, which is slightly above the country's national average. Although it's a relatively small city, the wider metropolitan area is home to a lot of apartment buildings, and the average price of a decent 100 square meter apartment is around $820,000. That being said, it is noticeably cheaper than both Zurich and Geneva, while being within easy reach of both cities. Furthermore, the city also has a wide range of freestanding detached houses, most of which are up on the market for up to a year due to their sky-high price tags. Number 7. Amsterdam, Netherlands. With its beautiful canal houses, vibrant atmosphere, and a large international community, it's easy to understand why Amsterdam is one of the most expensive cities to buy property in all of Europe. Like other cities listed in this video, it has seen massive growth in its housing prices. Just in the last 5 years alone, it has seen a real estate price increase of almost 63%. There are 7 districts in Amsterdam, each with their own distinctive property market. But as a whole, the median price for a 100 square meter apartment around its main hub is estimated to be around $830,000. That being said, despite strong competition and expensive prices, there are tax incentives and long-term benefits for investors in this city. Number 6. Paris, France. Paris is ranked as the world's second most visited city, so prices for everything, be it property, goods, or services, are quite high here. So, needless to say, owning a property here is no child's play, as most investors will have to shell out up to $1 million for a 100 square meter apartment in this city. Plus, most of the housing stock in Paris consists primarily of apartments, and only 16% of properties are detached houses. Moreover, due to high prices, only 30% of its residents own their own homes, which is far below the national average. Nonetheless, the interest between Paris and international investors continues to attract an international clientele who come to soak up the unique culture and bask in the typical Parisian lifestyle. Number 5. Munich, Germany. The capital of the Bavarian region of Germany, Munich has enjoyed a long history of wealth and power. This city of 1.5 million citizens might perhaps be most famous for its annual Oktoberfest celebrations, but in between that, it's also Europe's 5th and Germany's most expensive city to buy property. Average prices for houses and apartments are generally over 2 times higher than the German average, and there are no signs that this might change soon. The median prices in this city have increased at an exponential rate of 21% between 2019 to 2022, making it the fastest growing prices of any of the cities mentioned in this video. As of today, the average listing price for a 100 square meter apartment in this city is slightly above $1 million. Number 4. Luxembourg City. With around 120,000 residents and one of the highest GDP per capita in the world, Luxembourg's namesake capital has pushed up prices to astronomical proportions. The prices in Luxembourg City remain the fourth highest in all of Europe, with an average price of a 100 square meter apartment around $1.1 million to $1.2 million for a flat in future state of completion. On the flip side, property tax in Luxembourg are buyer-friendly, and stamp duty tax is almost non-existent. These elements make the cost of holding property very low, which increases acquisition prices organically. However, annual property tax is still prevalent in the country, and most properties are levied according to their assessed value. Number 3. London, the United Kingdom. Culturally diverse yet very modern and steeped in history, the English capital carries the reputation of an extremely expensive city. It's one of the most significant metropolitan cities, with more than 8 million residents, and it attracts many people to invest in housing. Even though the average housing price of the city is a bit higher than the rest of the UK cities, people are still willingly taking a keen interest in buying. Currently, median listing price of a 100 square meter apartment in almost all of its 32 boroughs is accumulated around $1.3 million to $1.4 million. While many of these have been snapped up by overseas investors, some are owned by anonymous homeowners. Plus, most of these flats are in the prestigious areas of the capital. Number 2. Zurich, Switzerland. Zurich is one of the largest cities in Switzerland, and its cost of living and property prices are quite expensive compared to that of the capital city, Bern. The city is located on the northeastern side, close to the striking Alps. It's home to one of the world's largest stock exchanges and is the country's financial engine. But there's much more to this beautiful Swiss city than commerce. Its real estate market has increased by 4% over the last 12 months, with the median price for a 100 square meter apartment going for a whopping $1.4 million. Fortunately though, the net compensation of buying in this city is among the best in the world, and there are a couple of lucrative incentives for foreign investors. Number 1. Geneva, Switzerland. While the Swiss capital of Zurich has its own impressively lucrative property market, it is the lakeside city of Geneva that has Europe's most expensive real estate, with an average asking price of almost $1.5 million for 100 square meter apartment. It's seen a strong demand from the international community who flock to Geneva to work for banks and organizations like the United Nations. All in all, living and buying property in Geneva is luxurious and expensive. Its standard of living is among the highest in Europe, even by Swiss standards. It's considered very expensive for investing in real estate.